just want to start off with some stats. So the stats say that the thing that's most likely to kill me is me. And that's scary. And as I enter my 40s, that even jumps up even more. And I have a very privileged upbringing. Poor, but I was privileged. I had family that loved me. We did stuff as a family. But it got to a stage where a number of things happened in my life that were out of my control, that affected me mentally. And I'll give you an example of this. So my best friend died on a drinking session with me. My own drinking was out of control. My relationship with my family was getting worse because of my drinking. My girlfriend at the time, who was an au pair, was sexually assaulted by her employer. And my job wasn't going well. My career hadn't gone the way I wanted to be. I wanted to play sport. I was injured. And so I had to do things I was in a career that I didn't really want to do. And so when all these things happened and they were all out of my control, I made a plan to take my own life. Now luckily, it didn't happen and I'm here today. But for those 2 weeks I'd made that plan, I was happy. No one around me would have known what was going on. They'd have seen a very low person for about a year and then seen me turn things around. And so they saw me happy because it was the one thing I could control. I couldn't control all the other things. They were all things that were just happening around me. And I came to the belief that every one of these situations and everyone around me would be better off if I wasn't there. That's how I actually believe. And logically, me talking to myself, this made sense. I went to my doctor. I fought for my appointment, which most people have to do, and really feeling like shit. Fighting for an appointment isn't something you want to do, but I've got one. I then get less than 15 minutes. I know that. The 15 minutes is your max. I'm lucky if you get 5. I had to explain to someone what was going on in my brain when I didn't even know what was going on in my brain. Let alone someone that knows how to diagnose me physically with what's going on, but didn't know how to tell me what was going on in my brain because I couldn't tell him what was going on in my brain. So he then passes me on to therapy. What we're going to probably all talk about is at some point about talking to people and how important talking to people is. And suicide is the most preventable death that there is out there. It's also one of the biggest killers in this country. So if it's the most preventable, we don't talk about it. We're scared that people will take their own lives if they talk about suicide. They find it I might put the idea in his head. That is furthest from the truth. There's no evidence that there's ever someone talking about suicide has then gone on to complete suicide. And that's why talking about it is so important. So if you suspect someone, or if they have been low and now they're all of a sudden high, that's even more of a red flag. Talk to them, because if they speak what's going on in their mind, if they talk about it, all of a sudden, it even doesn't make sense. If I talk to someone about what I had planned in my head, if I talk to someone verbally, I'd never have gone through with it. And then there was the guilt and the shame that came with it afterwards. You know, recovering in hospital, all the shame, my family, what I put them through. But it did start conversations, and that's the one thing I'm grateful for out of the whole situation. And this, now what I get to do and talk to people about it. Now, there's lots of trauma that I've dealt with from that. But speaking to people daily has helped me, and like you were saying here, like if you get that, if you're able to talk about that trauma and the opportunity to talk about it, I have done it quite a lot now, almost, it's emotionally, you're putting it out there and you can start to deal with it. So that's why we encourage people to talk. Now, I hate the word mental health, and I say this all the time, I talk to people about it all the time. I hate the word. We stigmatise it with the word, with mental illness. It's the thing. When I talk to people on a football pitch about what's going on, about our mental health, and they say to me, I haven't got mental health, so just let's crack on with the football. And I go, oh, that's great. So when we're talking about mental health, if people don't want to talk about that, then let's talk about your mental fitness. Where is your mental fitness right now? We talk about our physical fitness. We talk about how I need to work on that. And, I need to run a bit more. I need to do some weights. But no one talks to us about how we can be mentally fitter. So I encourage you, if mental health is the stigmatised word, don't use it. Use mental fitness. There's a few ways, especially with men, we don't talk very well. So one of the tools we use is called a starting 11. It's a way of being able to mark out where we are and then talk about where we're at the moment. And it's all right to not be high all the time. It's all right not to be low all the time. We want a journey in some mental health. It goes up and down just like our physical health. And so if 11 is winning the World Cup and 0 is crisis point, where are you at 10? Ask your friends this. Use this with your family. And it works. Because you're able to say, I'm a 6 because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not able to go, I'm feeling like this or I'm doing like, that's not natural to me. But I'm able to numerically say where I'm at. So I would use that tool. And like I said, use mental fitness if people want to talk about mental health. I'll have to sort of train thought. So I might pass on to the conference.
Guys, please, round of applause for this.